We've seen forums such as the G7 and G20 hamstrung by divisions sparked largely by the policies of US President Donald Trump. Of course, he's taken this disruptive America First approach. Then there's the BRICS alliance of generally middle-income emerging economies, including giant countries such as Brazil, China, India. It is presenting itself as an alternative for multilateral diplomacy and investment. Now, our guest says she is bullish on domestic policy credibility across many of these giant economies and their local debt, government debt. We're joined now by Hadiza Djataou, VP and Portfolio Manager at Mackenzie Investments. It's great to see you.
Nice to be here.
So the BRICS, I think it's fair to call them middle-income economies. I mean, I know India still has a long way to go, but they're emerging in a big way.
They're still developing. It's a very diverse group, but I think it's a powerhouse. It's a powerhouse because of the economic growth. You have India, China, to your point, that are the fastest growing economies, and they have significant strategic commodities. Think about energy coming from Russia. Think about rare earth coming from China. And all that allow them to play a significant role in the supply chain. And I know that what they're doing is at anti-American policies, and Trump is obviously a threat for the group, especially in the context of the Section 232, where if you look at the American Trade Act, there is the ability to impose tariff based on national security. And that would be somewhat kind of jeopardizing the U.S. Independence when it comes to those strategic commodities. And that's, I think, where there's yet to be seen what is the reaction function from Trump. And he's been already very vocal about the fact that what they're doing in terms of de-dollarization is unfair. And I think it's fair. It's fair because these countries are suffering of the reliance on the US dollar, and they're trying to develop ways to be less reliant, coming from an over-reliance. And that is totally credible, and what they've done so far has been extremely good.
It's fascinating. I mean, there's so many themes you gave us there, but touch on the one, the possibility of the US dollar losing status as a major world medium of exchange and reserve currency. Is that a long-term trend, do you think?
It's a very, very long-term trend. I think to this date and for the foreseeable years, 5 years, 10 years, give it some time, we might see the US using the reserve currency status. But as we stand today, there is a tremendous amount of transaction. Looking at, let's say, the FX market, 80% of transactions are done in US dollars. You can really beat that. But I also think that what BRICS are doing in terms of having bilateral transaction in yuan, for instance, Brazil is now trading in yuan with China. And they're developing other currency and they're trying to make a push for de-dollarization. But I think we're still far from a situation where the US dollar is not used anymore or used less.
I mean, it's such an exciting time, isn't it? The world's power is shifting from Europe, the arch-colonialist, and America, the center of economic gravity, I know some people think, is switching to Asia and away from these so-called Western countries.
Yes, I think there's a reordering of global trade, a reordering of capital flows, and the big loser is the US dollar. The US dollar has been, yes, the reverse currency, but also U.S. assets have been owned in very large amount across the world, including Asia, to your point. Think about what happened to the Taiwanese dollar because lifers who were heavily investing in U.S. equities, unhedged, had to all of a sudden start selling some of those assets or increasing the hedge ratio. So the reordering is going to be in disfavor of the U.S. dollar and in favor of other global currency, and I think BRICS, where they stand today, are making the right things, and their debts, as part of our global bond portfolios, have totally a role to play.
So you're seeing financial responsibility generally among governments in the BRICS group?
If you think about G10 countries, they have piled up the amount of debts.
The richer countries have done
exactly.
that, yeah.
For many countries, the political situation is not satisfactory. Think about the UK, think about France. And on the other side, you have EM country with strong leadership. Think about Mexico with Claudia Sheinbaum. Think about Brazil. And I know we have upcoming election, but the balance of risk from a fiscal and political perspective is more in favor of this big EM country than it is for all the, I would say, developed countries that are still struggling with the same issues.
Just talk to us briefly about demographics. We know there are plunging birth rates, especially in the wealthiest Asian countries, Taiwan, Singapore, also in
Korea.
Europe. But it's happening in places like Brazil too, I think. As incomes go up, women have fewer kids.
It is, but it's coming at a point that is more aligned now with developed countries. There's some countries are in a very dire situation. Think about Singapore. Think about South Korea. Brazil has a very large population, and it's actually a good thing to have some form of stabilization of the birth rate there.